Okay, we're going, you guys, but I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how to make the camera work, but we'll see. There we go. We're on.
Okay, great. I get to use the gavel. Call to order.
We've traded off.
Howard. Okay, so Jen. No, you turned it off. No, that's okay. Okay, so Dennis Mitchell is greeting his new grandchild today on the West Coast, and Kevin's absent, but we've got everybody else here, so welcome. I guess it's time to pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Excellent. Okay, did everybody have a chance to read through the meetings from last month?
Did.
Any questions or comments? Okay, so we'll move on to approving. Can we get approval on the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second? Anyone? Excellent, thank you. Okay, apparently there is no old business to go over. So we're going to start with new business. Do we vote? Oh, I'm sorry, yes. Thank you, Jen. We need to vote on the motion to approve the minutes.
Oh,
Okay, yes, motion to approve, second, all in favor?
Aye. Great.
We're good.
Okay.
Madam Chairman, there is one announcement I'd like to make under new business is that Commissioner Kevin Johnson has announced his resignation from the commission. He has accepted a job with MIT, and we just won't have time. His time is going to be taken up even more now. So we don't know anything about a new appointment, but he has resigned from the
Okay.
commission.
Thanks. Thanks. Well, congratulations to Kevin. That's awesome. Yeah. Okay, we're going to move to new business, and we've got a couple of speakers today talking about scholarship awarded.
you want to come up here, right here?
Probably get to the podium. And just say your name and where you live.
Yeah, hi, good evening. My name is Mary Sandifer. I live in Milton, and I am the Vice Commissioner of Recreation for the AYSA softball organization. I work with Sean Cunningham. And today we have a couple of young ladies that will be reading some essays to you. This is in honor of the Kayla Canedo and Brittany Feldman Scholarship. We have joining us today Tom and Yvette Canedo, as well as their daughter Emma. We also have Dawn Feldman. AYSA also, I'd like to mention, appreciates the support of the Commission and is grateful to be able to provide the opportunity for the young women and girls in the community to have a place to learn important lessons about friendship, teamwork, and community. This was demonstrated by both Brittany and Kayla. Brittany and Kayla were never far apart at North Park here in Alpharetta. They optimized playing sports for recreation. They weren't travel ball players. They were just out there competing and having a really good time. This scholarship is in honor and memory of these two young ladies. We will be having two young ladies read for you their essays. The first one will be Luna DeClo. I'm sorry, the second one will be Luna DeClo. The first one, she is a moment away. We will have Ella Gibson.
Hello.
Hello.
So I'm Sean Gibson, live here in Alpharetta. This is my daughter, Ella Gibson. And I think she's probably going to get too emotional to read this, so I'll read it for her if that's okay. So what the AYSA has meant to me. When I moved to Georgia from Pennsylvania in the 6th grade, I knew that I wanted to continue my journey of playing softball. She had already played 2 years, I think, in Pennsylvania before we moved here. Joining AYSA was the best choice I could have made. I began to grow as a player more than ever, and I made long-lasting friendships. These connections allowed me to work with the team for the same goal, winning and having fun. AYSA provided me with the opportunity to become the best version of myself, and it's taught me communication skills I can bring into the real world. Through the 14 seasons of AYSA softball I played, The relationships and skills I've learned will never be forgotten. I am forever grateful for the coaches who helped me improve and grow into the player I am today. Softball is the one thing I can count on to cheer me up no matter what I'm going through outside of softball. I can count on the coaches and players to make me feel accepted. AYSA is one of the best environments I've played in. So appreciative of this because there's always an abundance of acceptance, kindness, and friendship. This season, my dad, that's me, was able to be a head coach for my team. This experience has allowed us to grow stronger together and bond together better. I'm very grateful I had an opportunity to share these amazing experiences with him. AYSA has allowed me to find something that I'm very passionate about and was able to excel at. I've gained so many new skills and techniques from coaches and teammates, and I'm now able to pass those on to younger ages. Another thing AYSA has taught me is how to be a good role model and the importance of being one. As I grow up, younger age players will look up to me and the other older girls. And I've been able to use this to my advantage to show younger girls how to demonstrate the qualities of a good player. So that's all. So she's going to be going to Virginia Commonwealth University up in Richmond. So we take her up this weekend.
Wow. Congratulations.
Hi, I'm Luna.
Hi, Luna.
Hi there, my name is Mark Seclu and I'm the father of Luna. And well, I think it was a perfect example, so let me also read her essay. So here it is. What does ISA mean to me? To answer that question, we have to go back to my roots. Before I played at ISA, my family and I moved from the Netherlands, what is now 3 years ago. And before I moved, I played for 2 seasons at Orioles. It was both for the fire and travel team. At that time, I already started loving playing softball. And when we moved, it was a roller coaster of events, moving schools, making friends, and talking another language the whole day long. At the beginning of that season, 2021, my sister started playing for ISA. She loved it and was very positive when she got home from practice. And one day, when it was one of her practices I brought her, I remembered how fun it was and exciting playing softball, from hitting the ball to physically standing on the field. When we got home, I told my father that if he was able to find me a spot in the team, and lucky he found a place in the team's frogs. In my time at ISA, what would be one spring season, I've learned a lot. From always paying attention to where the ball is going, to new batting and catching techniques. My first practice was relaxing, and just like all times, the first practice I became friends with a few of my teammates. My coach, Mike, and Travis are very kind and are awesome people. Mike told me, when you are in the field, you should have a mindset that the ball will always come to you. One of his quotes that I always stay with me is, "The ball is mine." When I placed my first game, I was very nervous because I did not want to let my team down. My teammates were very comforting and proud of me no matter what I achieved. I remember being ready to hit the ball at the second game, and I hit my first pitch. And during the COVID pandemic, everyone has gone through rough paths. I remembered of how much I miss my friends and family. ISA gave me new friends and freedom, being able to communicate with my peers and having fun and laugh. ISA gave me a positive outlook again, and after the pandemic. Even though my time was short at ISA, I will always remember this place that made me very positive and happy.
Very nice.
So, you want to explain what you're going to do with the scholarship?
Yeah, so next year I'm moving back to Holland and I'll go to a fashion business school.
Very good.
Congratulations. Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was great.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Need a dignitary, yeah.
Sandy's coming.
All right, everybody.
Dad?
3, AYSA, 1, 2, 3.
Say.
One more, sorry. Everybody in there. Chairs out of it. All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And just a special word of thanks and appreciation for the Canados and the Feldmans for making this possible.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much.
Okay, Morgan is up with talking about the e-bikes on the Greenway. Hi.
Good evening. So,
Good evening.
everybody knows, I think, how we got here, but for the record, I want to explain how we got here tonight at the commission meeting. The Greenway is one of the things that you can do on the bicycle on the Greenway is ride a bike. So that it has, the only thing that is currently prohibited on the Greenway is motorized vehicles. That's the way the rules read. No motorized vehicles on the Greenway. And that was fine. And then along comes electric bikes. And the question was, when they first came on the scene, were we going to allow electric bikes on the Greenway? And the answer was no, because the city defined those as motorized vehicles. It had a motor on it, so we said no. You can't ride an electric bike because it's got a motor, and we don't allow motorized vehicle. Well, in 2019, the state of Georgia passed what is known as House Bill 454 that defined what it basically addressed electric bikes. And in this, I gave you a copy of the bill. And in this bill that passed and was put into effective law on July the 1st, 2019, it basically outlines 3 classes of bikes, electric bikes, class 1, 2, and 3. And it specifically says in this rule, this law, that class 1 and class 2 are allowed on all bike paths in the state of Georgia unless the local jurisdiction says they cannot. So currently, our rules, because by now the definition of electric bike is an electric assisted bike with a motor, not a motorized vehicle. It's very specific in there. So currently, electric bikes are allowed on our Greenway under the law. So we have been, though, interpreting the rule by under the old, under our law and saying no. So we've kind of been challenged by one of our residents that says, the law says I can do this. So I'm just bringing it forward to the commission because as it stands right now, legally class 1 and 2 bikes can be on the Greenway. And if we want to continue to not allow them on the Greenway, then we need to change the ordinance. City Council needs to change the ordinance and specifically say they are not allowed. And the one caveat to this is that the gentleman who is an Alpharetta resident that called basically says that he can ride his electric bike in Roswell on the Greenway and he can ride it in Forsyth on the Greenway, but he can't ride it in the middle section on the Greenway. And so that's really what kind of brought this whole thing to a head. So we have the choice of not doing anything, and that allows it, or the other option would be to officially ask council to add class 1 and 2 not allowed in the ordinance language. Be glad to answer any questions you may have. Try to be as brief as I could.
Morgan, do you have any staff recommendations on this?
Well, staff would recommend basically to allow Class 1 and 2 on the Greenway, since jurisdictions north and south of us who we're connected to now allow those electric bikes. And if there is an issue with those in the future, we would address that issue. So that's staff recommendation.
And would it be possible to get like a report, maybe like 6 months later, as to how things are going?
Absolutely. Whatever integral you would like, we can certainly give those reports. I did check with both Forsyth and Roswell, and neither of those jurisdictions have had any issues with it one way or the other. They're just so.
So these bikes are gonna go 20 miles an hour, and ours,
Up to 20.
up to 20.
Cannot exceed 20, I think is the way it reads.
Right, and our speed limit is currently
15.
You go up to 28 miles an hour, 28.
Class 3 goes to 28. Class 1 and 2. Class 1 will not, it will not go on its own. It will only assist if you're pedaling. In Class 2, it has power on its own without pedaling. But neither 1 or 2 can exceed 20 miles an hour. But our speed limit on the Greenway is 15.
Yeah, I think, at least from my perspective, having ridden and run a lot on the Greenway, there is a lot of traffic out there on some days. On Sunday afternoons, on a beautiful day, it's crowded, and you've got bikes that are abiding by the speed limit. You've got cyclists who are tucked down and they're doing over 15, shall we say, in excess, well above that, just for fun. And I don't think that that's any different than an electric bicycle. Both must observe the speed limit. I can max out on my road bike above 25 miles an hour, but I choose not to do that. Choose to ride responsibly. I really don't see a difference. The main thing that became apparent to me was talking to an individual some time ago that could cycle only because they had an electric assisted bike. It got them back into enjoying the outdoors and cycling, and I appreciated that differently, because I would look at those and go, well, why wouldn't you just pedal? Well, in some cases it allows you to enjoy the experience. I think with either side, Roswell and Forsyth, allowing that, it becomes an enforcement issue for us, and in accordance or similar comment to what Jit had said. I think if we can evaluate this, I don't think people are going to go out and just buy an electric bike because they can do 20 miles an hour on the Greenway. Hopefully they buy it so they can go out and ride anywhere at a reasonable pace. So I'd like to approve it and see the report in the coming months insofar as if there's been additional issue or any issue.
Morgan, my enforcement's the thing that concerns me the most. Like Scott just said, they're already pedaling 20, 25 miles an hour on that. I don't want to put it in the Recs Department hands to have to enforce the trail on a Saturday or a Sunday, or the police department to do that, because just you guys don't have the bodies to do it now. You're shorthanded, and the police don't have time to be patrolling up and down that any more than they do now. So I tend to agree with Scott. I think we basically need to pass this, or have to pass it, and go forward from there.
Yeah, my first concern was safety, and knowing that there's really not statistics from other precedents. I agree with Jet that we should reevaluate it, and I think we don't do anything, and I support that we allow it so that people can enjoy the services that we have in the community.
So while I was hoping to hear the staff recommendation, I don't necessarily know if I'm still okay with the concept, because I don't think it's enforceable. So if it comes down to enforcement as the mechanism to gauge this, and if we can't enforce it, then it by default becomes not enforced. If it's not enforced, then I think that this becomes like it goes down a slippery slope, where it only goes one way. You can't go backwards. So won't be fewer electric bikes out there. I think there'll be more electric bikes out there as a result of allowing this and it being communicated. And that would just, for me, mean it's less safe for families, children, and even my parents walking down. It's already crowded. I mean, if you've seen like Tuesday night with bicyclists, like 50, 60 bikes in the Greenway at one time when they're running together. Could you imagine faster vehicles, motorized? It's a slippery slope for me, and I personally want to keep it more safe. That's just my perspective on it. Understanding that we all have different opinions on this, and that's okay. I was just sharing my perspective.
And Morgan, is there a bike lane on the Greenway for these e-bikes, or is there something we could create?
No, there's a.
Them out of the
it's
pedestrian?
12 foot, and then we have a center line down the middle.
I
So
knew we had the center line.
if you're going north, you're on the right, and if you're going south, you're on the right, but you're on the other right.
But it's not
so-
wide enough to do both.
So, no.
So,
Anybody else? Comments, questions?
Do you think there would be the personnel to enforce, hey, it's officially illegal, get your e-bike out of here? Versus, whoops, you're going over 15, whether it's a standard bicycle or a class 1 or class 2 e-bike?
I just don't think it's enforceable. There's no one out there. So then I don't think.
they're out there on occasion, right? They're-
Yeah, there is a bike patrol within the Alpharetta Police Department, and they do spend time on the Greenway. But the same group is also trying to spend time in Wills Park, Webb Ridge, North Park, and some downtown, and some downtown as well. So they're not out there. They're out there on a regular basis, but they're not out there daily, I guess is the best way to say.
And can they tell how fast a person is going? Do they have instruments to share that?
They have what?
Do they have any type of radar, whatever? How can they tell how fast a person's going?
Yes, they can. You can. Y'all know they can use. I'm pretty sure they can use the radar to tell how fast a bicycle is going. And I don't know if they've ever
They carry
gone
it,
out and done that.
right? Do they carry a or
No, not normally. But I know in talking with the bike patrol, when they're out there, if they see somebody that they think is going too fast, they will stop them and just have a conversation with them. So, they're not out there trying to write tickets, obviously. So, I don't know if that answers your question or not.
It does, because it just means it's not practical.
Yeah, it's
at the end of the day.
Enforcement is an issue at the Greenway for any, it's just an issue for whatever you were trying to prevent on the Greenway.
Madam Chairperson, I'd like to make a rule change request with the motion, which if it's not seconded, it just dies. But I'd like to make a motion.
Go ahead.
So my request is to request a rule change to exclude class 1, 2, and 3 electric bikes for the Greenway specifically. And if there's a second, we'll vote. If not, it just dies.
I second that.
Exclude.
Yes.
Exclude class 1, 2, and 3 from the Greenway. That's specific. So it takes out clause 46303A1 to basically make it to what clause 2 says.
Motion, second,
Yeah.
discussion, any?
Yeah. So now, as the procedure would be to ask if there was any additional discussion and then to vote.
You just did.
I second it. You made a motion, I
Right.
second.
So,
Okay. Any additional discussion?
No. I think encouraging having, well, whatever. I made my second. No worries.
Procedurally, do we vote on this?
Yeah, now you just ask
On JIT's?
on his vote, you ask for all those in favor of JIT's
Okay,
motion.
all those in favor of JIT's motion? All those,
Hold on one second, because I have to see who voted for and against.
4.
4.
Right, she's
Sorry.
here.
There's going to be opposing votes.
Jit's
Can you
motion
hold on?
was
This is-
to,
Who's voting yes?
electric bikes, class 1, 2, and 3.
All right,
All right. And then
Those
those
opposed?
opposed?
those opposed? 4 to 3.
So the motion failed. Motion
Fails.
fails.
Correct.
Right.
Well, thank you.
Okay. So, so it's basically, as a commission, we're going to go ahead and recommend that, that they, yeah, the bill goes as is.
Yes.
Okay.
So now, class, according to Georgia law, and now we all agree that class 1 and 2s are allowed. But we are not, it is not our plan to make an announcement to the community. It's not our plans to write an article or put up signs. We're just now in compliance with the
State law.
Are we currently we're currently prohibiting it?
We currently, yes.
So we will have to make a motion.
No. We currently, by our definition, don't allow class 1 and 2 because we define class 1 and 2 as electric bikes.
Okay.
House Bill 454 defined class 1 and 2 as electric assisted bikes. So our no motorized vehicles allowed no longer meets that definition. So if by not changing it, we are allowing class 1 and 2.
Okay. So we don't
by
have
the
to
state.
change signage.
We don't have to do anything.
Okay.
And it is not our intention to put out any kind of press release or anything. It's just now we are in compliance. Our city code is in compliance with the law, with the state of Georgia law.
Yeah,
But if the police come back and say it's become the Indianapolis 500 out there,
We can revisit.
so we can.
Absolutely. You can do that at any point in time. So at any point in time, this commission can ask that the council to change the city ordinance to exclude whatever, to define what is excluded. So yes, absolutely. You can do that at any time.
Yeah, I think it would be incumbent upon us, given our discussion about this, to put a date in the calendar, right? 3-4 months from now, and ask for reports 6 months from now. So they've got some time to prepare it. But I think it would be good to get feedback, perhaps from those officers that patrol, and can give us an idea as far as what we see.
We can certainly do that. While I was sitting here thinking is that, we could also ask the sergeant of the community services group that is in charge of the bike patrol to come to a meeting and address any questions that they have. Because again, I don't want anybody to think that I was trying to speak for the police, because I wasn't. So we could certainly do that.
That'd be great.
If that would be of help, because, again, at any time you can change that. So I could ask them to come to the next commission meeting, if you will.
Or give it some time,
I figure maybe in the 6-month window,
Okay, all right.
let us know, and if there is an incident, like if you have a report that says, you know what, we're gonna present, and there's an incident, it might be good to have that sergeant come if there's incident. If there's no incident to report on, there may not be a reason.
So we'll put it on, if it's okay with the commission, then we'll put it on the calendar, whatever 6 months is from now. We will make a full report from our staff as well as the police on the issue.
But even though this document allows up to 20 miles an hour, we're not changing the speed limit.
Oh, absolutely not.
No.
No, we are not.
No.
If anything, I would want to lower it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no, absolutely not, no. But that's, it's kind of like, I think the correlation is that, your cars can go faster than 55 or 65, but the speed limit is 65.
I was thinking horse and buggy versus the first automobile.
Right, so, but yeah, no, I would not want to, definitely would
I'm a
not.
horse and buggy.
I would not want to raise the speed limit on the green. No.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, we have division reports, and we're going to do it a little differently this month. So we're going to have just 2 speakers, and they're going to report on for the other speakers as well. So first up is Christine, who's going to talk also for Amanda for community service and cultural services, Kim Zane.
Christine, can I jump in? So I'd like to we had a meeting, a manager's meeting yesterday. We actually did it in the Grand Pavilion in Wills Park. And if you're looking for just a great place to have a staff meeting and sit down and relax, I'd highly recommend that location.
And they drew the short straws. That's why they're here.
Right, absolutely. Long story short, we had the conversation is, we have 6 managers coming to a meeting for a 5-minute report. And so we just kind of talked about it, said, so at each commission meeting moving forward, there'll be one from the recreation side and one from the park side that will report for all three of those in that group. Unless there is an issue, and then they all are, whoever needs to be here, but we're just kind of reducing it. And of course, it'll probably shorten the meeting too, so that probably will be a benefit for the commission.
Okay, so here we go. Good evening. I hope you're all doing well. I'm going to go ahead and start off with cultural services. You will be getting all of these in the minutes, so if you have any further questions about anything, I don't know the details on every single little thing, but I'll do my very best on what I have here. I'm the one kicking it off, so we'll see how you do. It's boys versus the girls, by the way. Okay, so upcoming cultural happenings in cultural services. We have a portrait exhibit called Let's Face It at the Arts Center Gallery, and there's a reception on August 21st from 5 to 7. There's also the Charles Perman exhibit, which is at the Arts Center Studio Gallery, and that goes through the month of August. They are having Shakespeare in the Park, and they are doing The Tempest, which should be fun to see, at the Grand Pavilion, Friday and Saturday on October 8th and 9th, and then again on October 15th and 16th. I don't know if any of you have been to any of the plays at the Grand Pavilion, but you've been to them. They're very enjoyable.
Can you hear it? Like, I haven't been to any of them. Can you actually hear them? Because there's no acoustics or anything.
Well, they have, we were able to help them purchase some cordless microphones. So the main characters, if there's 4 or 5 main characters, they have mics, and you can hear it. Yeah, you can hear it. Yeah, they actually. That's great. This is in conjunction with Act One, and so they have sound out there and a sound guy, and if it's, unless it's raining, and of course if it's raining, electronics don't work real well, but most of the time they work real well, and you can understand them. Okay. If you can understand Shakespearean talk, then you can understand them. Just have to put that caveat in there.
Thank you for clarifying that. At the Arts Center, they're going to be having a new Georgia Woman project. It's called Black Women Speak, and it is going to be a performance at the Black Box, and that will be on October 28th, 29th, and 30th. And also their new guide is out, and registration has started. So that is online, and they have hard copies at the Alpharetta Community Center and at the Arts Center. Public art, and Sandy, maybe you can expand on this. You might know the area mural. Do you know what that's about? I guess
I can tell you what there's a mural that being put up at Aria, new beside the hotel. They approved that last month.
Thank you for that.
Is that mural going under the? There's a
wall, and
there's
the design review board conditioned that it has to take up 50% of the wall, so they approved it on the lower portion of the wall.
On the back.
On the back.
On the back,
yeah.
Okay.
So you can't see it from Canton Street? You have to be
So I'll jump in here too. You can see it from Canton Street because of the way that building is turned. It's angled toward Canton Street. A little bit. But you'll be able to see it from Canton Street until they build a building that's going to go right there. Then you won't be able to see it. But there is but where the mural is going to come into play is there is a 20-foot alleyway behind that business as well as the hotel that will go from the corner of Milton and Canton to Old Canton. It will be a public alleyway, a walkway there where it'll be wide enough where you can have like art events and those kind of things on there. And so when that is created, you'll be able to see it when you're walking through the alleyway.
Okay.
Yeah, originally the hotel was going to have a public art garden in the back behind the hotel, but I don't know if there's a plan for that still.
I think it's still on the.
Friendship or Friends in front of the Hamilton.
Yeah. It's a beautiful hotel.
We were fortunate to have a tour this last week, and it's beautiful. And then the new statue is unveiled this morning. Yeah, it's just so fun. If you haven't seen it already, it's just the happiest. Yeah, it's great. One other thing about public art, there is a public art. Oh, go ahead.
Can I ask you another
Sure.
question about public art? What about that piece that needs repainting right there in front of Alpharetta Animal Hospital on the other side of the street? Do we have any idea on that?
That's with the legal department of Alpharetta. There's a discussion on who owns that. piece, because it's really on public land, is my understanding. So it's with the city attorneys right now.
Right.
That's the latest.
But as soon as it gets out of the attorney's office, which we anticipate to be very shortly, we have a plan basically to rebuild it and repaint it. Because it was not constructed with the proper materials. So our plan is to make it right and then put in place. And the reason that it's taken a little longer in the legal deal is because we're not just worried about this time, we're worried about the next time too. We're getting it in writing and who's going to take care of it for perpetuity so that we don't end up with it right now, because it really looks bad right now when you get up close.
Right, and it's setting a precedent too, as far as what can go on corners like that in the future. So that's why they're taking their time with it.
Yes.
And going forward, Kim's making sure there's maintenance agreement with every piece of public art.
All right. Thanks for clarifying. As far as music goes, Music Match is starting their fall lineup, and there is a busking committee. Everybody knows what buskers are? Okay, they're street performers.
Oh.
So it sounds like they're putting a committee together to manage that.
Correct.
Yes.
And then in the history area, the Log Cabin is having their grand opening in October. So go ahead, we'll get you guys that date, and you can put it on your calendar and come celebrate the opening of the Log Cabin. Very fun. Okay, that's it for the Cultural Services Report. If you have any further questions, I would ask Morgan or email Kim. She is the expert. Okay, moving on to the Community Services Division. The events that are coming up in Community Services, the Food Truck Alley is going to continue, and it's under new management. Any questions on that one?
What does that mean?
I saw in the paper once a month. Can I just keep going once a month through the fall?
Through the fall, yes.
September and October.
Yep.
What does that mean under new management? Like I saw an article in the paper saying that this vendor name and they're going to come out for the next 2 months. Is there a reason for the demand change? And did we always outsource the bunch of food trucks in the past? And then this is new that they're running their own and we're not involved as much? Just I'm curious what that means.
I'll defer to him on that
So
one.
you want me to take this one?
Yeah, you get it. You go for it. I can't answer that one. I'm claiming ignorance on that one.
So in the past, the city has done Food Truck Alley.
Right.
Okay, so moving forward, the company.
Which means that Amanda used to organize the trucks, like she would call them and say, I need you to come on Thursday? And she'd
Well, we
call them.
started that, and then we found, maybe 2 years ago, there was a lady who got into the business because food trucks were the thing, who then we talked to her, and she managed the food trucks, and we put out the tables, and we put out the barricades, and we did the kids' activities and those kind of things. So what's happening in now is that lady that does food truck is now taking over and going to do the whole thing. So all we will have is editorial control. So she still has to get approved what she's going to do. We know what music's coming. We know what activities are coming, but she is basically doing it on her own. So if she's trying to, for full disclosure, she's trying to make money now, more money off of that with sponsors, because she's going to go after sponsors for the music and those kind of things. Now, not sponsors. She's not going to sell. You're not going to see Gutter Guard out there with a booth, but she's taking over. So our goal is for the average citizen to not see anything different with food trucks. It's just not going to be taxed under our staff because we're going to move on and do some other activities.
And we'll still manage the marketing on it as well.
So there are still costs for us, though, through this process.
Not to us. There won't be.
The police, she's going to cover the police cost?
Yeah.
Oh, and the trash pickup and everything?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pretty good deal.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's really the model we're trying to get to with all of our events. And one of these days, we want to be there with Taste of Alpharetta. We want to be there with Wire and Wood. We really want the private sector to be doing that, and we maintain that editorial control. Mm-hmm. Still our event, we still, keep an eye on it, but it's not taking the city resources. And that's the direction we've been given from Mayor and Council, is to go in that direction. Don't give up the event, but give up the expenses of the event. Yeah, and manpower, absolutely.
Cool, thank you. That's actually good for us.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Okay, moving on. Scarecrow applications for Scarecrow harvests are going to be open on the 17th of August, and that will be for the schools and any other businesses that want to participate in that. They are in the process of getting season of celebration planned and ready to go, and also doing the holiday decor plan, and that is underway as well. So downtown is going to look beautiful between the scarecrows and right into the holidays.
Alternative to the old Christmas tree.
He gets that too.
Okay. So there is an alternative in it. I don't know if anybody heard, but just recently, Evans Construction, which is a worldwide construction company that operates out of Old Milton. They don't do anything locally, but they're a huge company. They donated $60,000 for a 42-foot artificial tree that's going to go at the fountain, on the fountain, along with a 8-foot star that's going to go on that. So it'll be a 50-foot artificial tree that will be lighted and
They
decorated.
don't have, they have Amanda's.
Okay.
Have,
Right.
Go with the artificial grass.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
It'll be beautiful.
And so let's not forget we're going to have artificial snow as well. So we have artificial snow. Everything will be green and white.
It's a
so it'll look
trifecta.
nice.
That's great.
Okay.
But Santa's real.
I'm sorry?
Santa's real.
Santa's real, that's right.
Santa's real. Yes, absolutely. Okay, they're going to be having the Great Georgia Pollinator Census. Everybody know what that, this is fascinating. You should have this in you need to read that. I'm not going to read it out loud, but I had never read that before, and that is absolutely fascinating about what the Pollinator Census is, and that we're one of the very few states that be part of Georgia pollinator history, because we are, 85% of Georgia's 159 counties had participants submit results, which is amazing. So if you want to go out and help count insects, please join them at the farm on August 21st between 9 and 11 a.m. And read that, because that's fascinating.
Off will be provided, right?
Pardon me?
Off will be provided.
Yes, yes, cutter, yeah, definitely, because you don't want to get eaten by bugs, but you want to count them. Okay, and fall plant and seed pickup is going to be on September 4th if you are a member of the farm or the home growers. Farm work days are going to be September 4th and October 24th. We always need people out there helping. They are going to have a movie at the farm on September 17th, and the movie is going to be Kiss the Ground. I imagine it's about loving the earth and growing things, which sounds great. It says grab your favorite hammock, camping chair, or blanket, and enjoy a food-related film under the trees. So that sounds like fun. Very nice evening. And then lastly is the Harvest Picnic and Plant Swap on October 2nd. There's a flyer in there as well. And they have a big meal outside under the gazebo, or under the center gazebo with lights, and it's just beautiful. And then they're having a plant swap prior to that, right as it starts. And you can bring your own little plants and swap them with everybody who's out there and get some new plants. So that's it for community services. Any questions on that one? Amanda's doing some great things out there, just like Kim's doing great things for art and culture. All right, on to recreation services.
I have one thing about this, with all those things happening. Are we any closer to bathrooms there?
Oh, at Rucker?
No, we're not.
Mm-mm.
You know, I'm gonna ask about that like every time.
But, you know, that, there is a plan, you know, that we've got, and so, but there's no funds for that, but it is part of the
But if the bond
It is part of the
passes?
bond. If the bond passes, then one of the things that we will build with that money is restrooms. That'd be one of the first things that we would build, because that's what's needed.
You really need that.
Parking and restrooms are the two things that are most needed in that park.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
So, but I don't,
Actually, it should be restrooms, then parking, because I don't care where people park.
okay,
Restrooms, then
right,
parking.
gotcha. So I think it's a good idea for you to ask as often as you
I'm
feel
gonna.
you need to.
We need a bathroom there. That's just-
You don't like the porta
No. And we're inviting people to come and eat and do things, you know?
Yeah,
I mean,
I know.
we're asking them to
get there.
pick food. They need to be able to wash. No. Yes.
It's very natural out
Yes.
Composting.
All right.
Agreed.
On to recreation services. I just handed out our new activity guide. It came out about 2 weeks ago, and registration started already for residents, and non-residents registration or open registration starts tomorrow. Lots of great programs in here.
Who's
And
beginner tennis with me?
do what? Play tennis with you?
I'm doing the second one. I'm doing the girls one, so I'll miss you.
How about recreational tree climbing?
It's so much fun.
I'm doing it Saturday.
It is so much fun.
Are you? Really?
Go do it with her. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Girls.
That's awesome. I want to be.
You will be exhausted. Well, depends on the shape you're in, but I was exhausted by the end of it. But it's really, really fun. I really enjoyed it. And Hank is great. He's our instructor. I'll talk about this in just a second, but I just want to go through a couple more things before we get there. Summer camps are done. And we're just, they did it. 8 weeks worth. My staff, I walk into the facilities this week and they're all just like, great summer. I'm so proud of my staff and all the staff that they hired, that they just had a fantastic summer. Again, I'm going to brag on, Wills Park Day Camp. We had over 150 kids per week. And they're going to be changing it up quite a bit next year. We're going to restructure it and just kind of change it up and make it a little more, we're going to get a little more educational things into it, where the kids are not just there, playing games all the time. Maybe they can actually be learning some things and just change it up on them and let them have a little bit more fun out there and learn about their environment and stuff like that.
Well, and I've got to say too, I mean, it's just, I did that for at least as on the annual program round, at least supervised or had a lot to do with it, and for years. And favorite time of the year. It's amazing, but
Yes.
I'll be in therapy because of the PTSD for years as well. But
It is.
it
It's so stressful.
But it is a phenomenal thing for our kids and our families. So thank you.
You know what? We
Lot of
all
heart.
love what we do, and this is why we do what we do. And to see those kids out there this summer, it just was so much fun at the pool and walking through the park. And they just had a great time. They went tree climbing. They went tree climbing. They had a ball. They just were all hanging. Did you walk by that day when they were tree climbing? They're all just hanging from the trees. It was great. But it was a very successful summer. I would say one of our biggest successes was the teen camp and the need that we saw there. And we're going to be expanding on that for next summer. And the kids had a ball. My staff was just fantastic. MVP Zone continues to grow. This was our second year of having the sports camp, and they rocked it this summer as well.
But yeah, that teen camp is awesome. I think you mentioned you're going to open it up to 4 weeks next summer. Was that what I remember?
We're having our wrap-up tomorrow. I'm having a summer wrap-up with my staff. We're going to be talking about what we did well, what we need to improve upon, and what we're going to be changing for next year, and that is one of our discussions. The budget is also going to dictate that as well.
That's fair. And would it be possible to open up the age group? I think it's 13 and 14?
It's 12 and 13. We're going to be talking about that too,
Thank you.
because we see that there's a need for up to 15.
That was my ask.
Yeah. We saw that in the NOC camp, the camps down in Roswell with the paddle boarding and the kayaking and canoeing. We saw that. We had 12 to 15, and that was just a great group, and they were full every week. So we did see that they were signing up for things, and I know that there's still needs for 14 to 15-year-olds because they need to be kept busy. They're not driving yet, they're home, and to give them that opportunity and keep them busy.
Thank you.
Welcome. We're looking towards school year programming, which is going to be starting after Labor Day. Going to be kicking into gear, so we're looking forward to that. And on to some new things in here real quick. I just want to highlight a couple of things in our guide that are new. We have changed our father-daughter Valentine stance. It had different themes. It went from being Valentine's to all different themes, but it was still father-daughter. We have actually changed that to a family dance. There's just so many different makeups of family right now, and we just want to be able to allow families to go enjoy the time together and go have fun as a family. That is going to be on February 12th at the Alpharetta Community Center. In here also, we've added some tot time programming for toddlers from 1 to 4. Those are going to be 1 hour a week on Fridays at Wills Park Rec Center, and they're going to vary. They're going to be story time, cooking, where they make snacks and that they can enjoy, arts and crafts, and outdoor exploration. We're trying to get our gyms to be used more during the day and fill up, and this is one of the ways we're doing that because toddlers are at home. for their preschool, but, you know, they have the opportunity to come on Fridays. A lot of preschools don't go on Fridays, so we're hoping to fill those up and the kids will have fun. We had music, a music program that went every Wednesday for about 3 months. And Kim Unger, who is our administrative assistant at Wills Park Rec Center, is our songbird. She's amazing. And she did this toddler thing, and we had 20, 30 people come to this thing out at the pavilion, and it just was great. So we knew that there was a need there. So we're hoping to meet that with that. Couple more things. We are having a 3v3 March Madness adult basketball tournament on March 19th and 20th at Wells Park. It might be at the community center. I'm not sure which one yet, but that's our first tournament that we'll be having, and I think that'll be fun. We also added more pickleball lessons and another instructor because the need has grown so big. And lastly, Aquatics. I'm sure most of you have heard by now that we had to alter the pool schedule due to staffing limitations that we have. We are going to be open up to the weekend before Labor Day. The only week when we're not able to be open is Labor Day weekend. And we've shortened our hours from 12 to 5 on Saturday and Sunday. And senior swim will stay the same mostly until, I'm sorry, I don't have that date in my head, but I am guarding them. So I will be there on Mondays and Wednesdays guarding them for about 4 days, and then up until Saturday the 4th, and that's the end of it for seniors.
Do you have any ideas for how to make this not happen next year?
Yeah, get the state of Georgia to change the school dates. We struggle with this every year, you know. They begin the second week of August, and it stays hot until September.
Right. But is the staff mostly high schoolers? Or is
High schoolers and college students, both.
Okay.
And we have high schoolers. It just depends on the makeup. And the makeup this year was that we had less high schoolers than we had college students.
And the college students don't want to come back and work the Labor Day weekend and make some money?
Some do.
Yeah.
But believe me.
So we tried to bribe them, sure.
Yeah, exactly.
We actually, just to
Give
be
them a
honest with you,
bonus or something to come back.
we offered bonuses for
Yeah.
them to come back
Bribed
on
them.
top of what they normally get. And that's how we were able to get, I mean,
All
without the bonuses, we would be closed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we'd already be closed because we don't have enough guards. So we tried everything. We tried buying our way to the top of the list of a company that provides lifeguards, and they just said, we don't have enough guards.
They don't.
No
It's
matter
all over
how
the
much you
place.
offer us, we don't have guards. So if anybody here is interested in being a lifeguard, we'll pay to train you between
Talk to
now and next summer.
I'll get you in there.
And we can last couple of weeks, we can go to an old guard, the old guard, and try to keep it open. I don't know, we say that jokingly, but,
No, it's
fine.
I mean,
See, it takes 10 people to, is it 10? Minimum of 10?
12.
12 people to open the pool.
Both
Guards.
pools. Yeah.
So-
And I even have part-timers running the slide operator, because really it's just, they don't need to be a guard. They just need to say go, go, go.
Hard.
So we even have that. And yeah, I am one of the old guards. So come join me next summer.
Yeah,
Be a
I
guard
had-
with me. It's fun. It's really fun.
I had actually mentioned to Morgan the other day, we were talking, and I've had the same issue. I mean, it's awful. You get toward the end of the summer and you lose everyone. They go back to school. It's hard. Some of them are far afield. They're not going to come back from UGA, and they're in their world there. But the concept of the old guard, and it could be a core of non-college or high school students that
Talked about it, yeah.
could get certified and
Love that.
and help out. I mean, whether they volunteer or get paid or have to get paid given the job requirement. But
Did you used to be a lifeguard? Come on.
yes, I'd need more than a
You're going
recert
with that,
today.
right?
But yeah, I think, and it's a lot of fun. So.
It is fun. It is really fun. It's a little stressful, but it's fun. It's a great job, and the training's fun. I get to do it this week. I get to train for 6 hours to guard for 8 hours. That'd be fun. Any other questions for me?
I hope you get that bonus too.
No, it's okay. No, I love doing it. I really do. And I want the seniors to be able to go as long as they can, so I don't mind doing it at all.
That's good.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Christine.
Good evening.
Amen.
All right, right, so this is my first crack at it as well, so cut me some slack. I think that's why we volunteered, because we knew that
Yeah,
it would be a little bit of leeway.
You're gonna get any slack, okay? You can just tell Matt and Mealy that next
So-
time, boy, we're gonna have to.
Hopefully, I'll do some justice to the Wills Park and the Park Services report. But I'm going to start out with the project management. In park development, the Innovation Academy facilities are progressing. We reached across some big hurdles with the finalizing the stadium, Homeside Stadium restoration, which is a big, really makes a difference in how the facility looks. So we've completed that. We completed the baseball field conversion to soccer, and that's going to, and that grass is going and growing, and hopefully we'll be able to utilize that at some point, maybe in the fall. But I don't know if they need it. We may be at a state to be able to do that. We've also demoed the old field house, the white building to the left down the hill. We demoed that, and we were having too many problems with graffiti and folks staying in it, and there was really not a real plan for it, so it has gone bye-bye. So the pad's still there, and we can still use that pad for whatever development in the future. So we are working on the renovations of the visitor side restrooms, and hope to get those done in the next couple weeks, and those will be painted, and then the next step would be to actually.
If you're getting vandalized, you're gonna just keep them locked mostly, unless there's something. You said that those are the ones that were.
Well, our policy for most of our restrooms is to stay open. And in this case, and including also at Union Hill Park, we are going to invest into some auto locks with a timer, and they'll lock on as we, whenever that time comes. So we are going to invest in that with those. And we'll see how those work. And then if they are successful, we'll move on to some of our other parks that are in need.
So let me clarify, make sure everybody understands this. Ambush, which is our soccer, where the youth soccer group, is using the stadium field already. But what he was talking about was the baseball field. We took the baseball field, we leveled it, and we're putting in, we're going to put in 2 smaller soccer fields there so that the little kids, the 4-year-olds, have a place to play on the west side of town. Because right now, if you're a 4 or 5-year-old soccer player and you want to play soccer in Alpharetta, you have to go to Webb Bridge. So we don't know if that's going to be ready in time for fall because of all the new sod we had to put down on the infield. And so but the stadium's already being used. Field is already being used by Ambush, and they love it because it's really plush. And me and Christine met with the Alpharetta Youth Lacrosse Association out of Alpharetta High School, and they're going to be using the practice field this fall for some of their practices. So we really want to get a youth lacrosse association within the Recreation and Parks Department. So this was an opportunity for us to kind of bring them in-house and see how it's going to work. So we're just going to let them use the field this fall. That's the old practice field, if you know where that is. Mm-hmm. So we're activating that space, and a lot of people are using the track now that it doesn't look like it's in a third world country. A lot of people are coming out using that track.
So you see the other information about Innovation Academy. Any questions in regards to the Innovation Academy and the renovation over there? We're moving on into Wills Park maintenance shop, which has been a ongoing project such as Mid-Broadwell Park. And we are out to bid for the site work for the maintenance shop and the Equestrian Center Arena. The site work's going to be done. The Equestrian Center Arena is also going out for bid, and it's going to be separate. And we're looking for more of a specialized contractor that works in the field of the equestrian and building those arenas. And so they're going to do the installation of the footing and everything inside of it. Meanwhile, we'll have a general contractor do the site work and all the stuff underneath and stormwater and so forth. And we're going to combine that with the site work for the maintenance shop, because it's basically the same thing. Hopefully, getting those on the same schedule will have less of an impact to the Equestrian Center events. So anyway, we're keeping our fingers crossed that this is third time is the charm, and it's going to happen. Park improvements and enhancements, North Park Playground that we've been waiting for the equipment to get here. It got here last Thursday, and they began installation. And hopefully within the next couple of weeks, we will have that area completed, with the exception of maybe some finishing work with having to do some sod replacement and so forth. So we're excited about that. North Park is also getting some love on the turf field. You know, we're getting that replaced this fall, and those bids will be due next week on the 13th. And then we're also working on, I know we mentioned the fact that at Beaver Creek Park, which is the park on the south side of the Greenway, on south of Mansell Road, we're having some issues with some sinkholes and so forth. And we're doing a feasibility study because the initial studies and plans discovered that there was just basically a lot of junk and stumps, and it was just basically a landfill when they did the work there, and it's not really a good place to put a path, which they should have never put the path there to start with. So we're looking into seeing if we can move it over a little bit. We're doing a feasibility study with the hopes that there's not any debris and junk underneath up the hill a little bit, and hopefully that will come out positive, and we'll be able to move that trail over. We'll be able to combine that project with the boardwalk redevelopment that the Public Works is working on as well. So hopefully we can kind of get all that sync together and complete it at the same time and really get that area
Now, did we
back to
put
where
that
it is.
path in, or did the apartment complex put that path in?
I'm sorry?
That path that's sinking, did we put that in, or did the apartment complex put it in?
It was developed. It was one of those areas that was developed by a developer to get credits, and then it was deeded or donated to the city.
Okay.
So yeah, we inherited a mess, and that's to say for pretty much that entire area. But we're working through it. It's a great amenity, and if we can get this thing right, it's going to be a great amenity and a good anchor to the Greenway.
Is it worth mentioning to Kathy Cook and her group that if they're gonna give us amenities, that they maybe make them more useful? Like,
Yes, so we're involved in those amenities as they're building them, rather than just being at this, when
Just
they
getting
hand it
to
to us,
keep
so
it,
yes.
yeah.
So now as they're building like the Alpha Loop and those kind of amenities, we're sitting at the table making sure that.
they're not making it over a landfill. I mean,
Right, that they're not making it over a landfill, absolutely, yeah.
So sometimes things are built in a different day and time, and I think we're really looking the things that being fine. So as far as Will's part, let me see if I can put on my best Matt Casey. I'd stand up a little bit, talk more.
Got the cowboy.
And Matt just wanted us to report on the fact that the tennis courts at Wills Park, that is finally working through the scheduling of day camp being over and all that, and so they'll be resurfacing that beginning next week. We were looking at the numbers and what was left over, and I don't even know if Matt mentioned this to you, but we are exploring the possibility, if the cost is right, to try to go ahead and see if we can enhance and fix the lighting over there. Fantastic. There's enough money left. We hope, we're going to talk to our electrician, we're going to see if it's enough money left to do that. But we want to at least explore it and see, and if there's a possibility, we're going to put that on the priority of the enhancements of the area.
That's great.
So keep your fingers crossed that.
I'm post ready for the Mural Electric, like, dude.
So, anyway, so we're looking into that. So we're hopeful.
Yeah.
We're hopeful.
Now, at all the other tennis courts, they put some pickleball in. Are you putting pickleball in at Wills Park or no?
We're going to, in some of the courts, we're going to add and make it a dual purpose area, but we're not doing what we did at North Park where we completely made it pickleball only.
Okay.
We're going to try this and see. Christine has seen some of it be successful in other communities. So we're going to try it out and see if this dual use lines will work.
Okay.
And we hope so.
Actually, we're going to do all of them. All 6 courts are going to have pickleball lines on them.
Oh, all six? Okay. All right.
Is that gonna make
All
it
6?
No,
I mean-
no. It's just no different than basketball. Like at basketball, go out and play, there's 3 lines, sometimes 4 lines on a basketball court. You just, when you're playing, you know what color.
But when you're watching it, you have no idea. Like, for the casual observer, it's very difficult to
Right,
follow.
yeah, and a tennis player won't pay any attention to be honest with you, to the pickleball courts and vice versa.
Okay,
It works.
all right.
It works.
Um,
Because in the other areas, like at North Park and at Webbridge, we know that those tennis courts aren't being used, all the time. But if you don't have to go by Wills Park very often to know that tennis is being played on all 6 of those courts. And it's just not right to take something away from the tennis guys.
No.
Just because pickleball's coming. So it's a nice addition. That way folks can play what they want to. The biggest difference is that the tennis court net is a little higher than the pickleball net, but that's just, it just comes with the play. If you play pickleball on a tennis court and then you go play on a pickleball court, you're better because you're used to hitting it a little bit higher. So so it's a good place to practice.
You wanted to mention the Equestrian Center shows. The shows have the attendance has been better this year and expected with coming out of COVID. So excited about that. Rolling into the fall maintenance program of some restoration and so forth around that area. The dog park's also going into a fall maintenance program with adding some mulch and stone in the area. And then, of course, the best dang ballparks in the state of Georgia are going into their fall program as well with some aeration and some sand. It's been a long, hot summer, and so they're about to go into the fall season, but at the same time do some renovations of some of the fields, which is what they normally do. Barry Pike is a park supervisor at Wills Park, and he's probably one of the best ball field maintenance managers that I've worked with. So he does a great job. And if you go out there, those infields are tight and it looks sharp. So we're proud of that.
Does Barry do residential services? Is Barry available for residential work? Is he available for residential work?
He used to. As a matter of fact, this is his second career. He owned a business and then he sold it. Now he's working for that. So I don't know what he's going to do when he does retire. So, which I don't think Barry will ever retire. He'll work his entire life. And on the park services, you notice that we are focusing a lot on North Park. North Park needs some love, and it is time to give it some money to give it that love. So we're doing some trail repairs between 7 and 8. If you've seen it out there, the asphalt there, it's old, it's crumbling, roots are breaking it up. So we decided, hey, we're going to go with a totally different route. So we ripped up the asphalt, which had to do anyway. Instead of repouring asphalt, we went with a soft surface, using the slate trail mix like we did over at Windward Park. We're going to see how that works out. It looks good, and it's certainly impacted the trees over there, Cheryl.
Thank you.
Less of an impact.
I saw that there was tree removal guys over there near the playground. What'd you guys do over there? Don't think you were seeking.
Well, that is what I call, and actually on North Park Field 4, the outfield safety improvements.
Oh.
And there are some safety issues of the field of play in Field 4. I said Field 1, that's a typo, Field 4, and that does include taking some pine trees out that overhang, and which also bring in roots into the field of play that make it safe for those that are playing softball. So we kind of have to fight.
Yeah, I'm watching you.
But we did say the trees going to 7 and 8.
For full disclosure, we took out 30 pine trees at North Park, and all of them were within 10 feet of the fence line. And the fence it was pushing the fence up, and they were all the way around, there were roots in the field of play. And so, you know, you can't have roots in the field of play. You just can't. And where those pine trees were hanging over the fence, there was no grass there because the grass can't grow. So the only ones we took out were within 10 feet of that fence. And there was one at 10 feet, 1 inch, and we left it, you know. I got overruled. I would have taken it out, but I got overruled. Just so for full disclosure. Just don't
They
wanna-
knew I was watching, I drove
Yeah, I
right
know.
by that
I know,
day.
but I just want to let you know,
What
that we
are
took
they
out because we had to,
I
because
had the,
You know everything, Cheryl. You
I
can,
saw your truck there.
you see it, if a tree goes down,
That by
you
me.
know it, so. But no, we honestly do our best to try not to cut trees down. So I mean, that's too much work and too much money.
Chantel had a question.
Were you able to get the roots up out of the outfield?
We will.
then? Y'all
We
went
will.
up
We'll
under the
grind up
fence
the roots out of the, you know, they'll just have to be ground up. But
Okay.
part of what we're doing at North Park is replacing a lot of the fences too, because the fences are curling up.
Right.
And so, as we're replacing those, we're gonna grind those roots up so that we can get the grass back in the field.
Well, that playground looks nice out there,
It's
though.
gonna.
It's gonna really look nice
That
now.
playground's gonna pop there now.
It is. You notice
Kids are
it
gonna wanna
more.
play on it. It's gonna be a fun playground.
New place for you to go, babe. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
And of course, you know, wait a minute, I didn't do my, I'm Eric Millian from Boston thing.
Let's hear it, let's hear it.
Sorry. But lastly, Eric and I are going to be working on a whole bunch of service contracts. I know Eric is, you can just feel, it's like someone scratching a chalkboard with Eric when he has to get down and like, let's just do some of this stuff. So we got our on-call lawn maintenance coming up that we have to work on this winter. We're working on fountain maintenance contracts and renewing that. And he's also working on very hard to get some trash can maintenance, receptacle maintenance around the downtown and Park Plaza area. Basically, Park Services does not have the bandwidth to handle the volume. So we're trying to get some contracts so they can make basically pulls probably as many as 7 days a week. But that still doesn't mean that Park Services isn't going to make pulls. They're going to supplement in between. But that's how busy this area has become, which means this area is a great success. So he'll be working on these contracts to try to get them out to bid so we can get better service to the community. Any questions?
What's the word on maintenance now that the turf is in around the city fountain?
I'm sorry?
It has maintenance demands changed or anything now that the turf is there?
Yeah, well, the maintenance is different. You know, the good thing about it is you don't have to go in and resod it every year and so forth. So there is a grooming process that we'll have to do on the occasion. That keeps the sand all distributed that's underneath there and properly. And of course, about every 8 to 10 years, any turf has to be replaced. The great thing about this is it's going to stay green, and that's the whole point of that. So far so good. We've had some pretty heavy downpours, and it's taking the water underneath and like it's supposed to, and not puddling. So we're excited about that.
Traffic's got to be up tremendously.
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Traffic, human traffic is up.
You know, so it may actually last 6 years. So, but that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to bring the highlight of this area back, and with the way it was with the natural grass, it just wasn't possible because it got so much use. So we're excited that it's now back to being the feature and the focus of the area. So, any other questions? Thank you.
Thanks, Kurt. Okay, Morgan.
Do you have,
Yeah, I don't.
Morgan,
Nope,
nothing?
I'm good.
Okay,
I'm good.
okay. I think we have a gentleman that wants to speak. Come on up. Can you let us know your name and where you live?
Hi, I'm Caden, and I live in Avalon. So I was on my way home from my second day at school, Innovation Academy, and I was just skating right out back, and I met James, was it?
James Drinker?
Yeah, James. And we had a conversation, because I had been pushing for skateboarding to be more prioritized, because I know there's a money thing about how you need the funding and the support by like the community, and I just think that if this is put at a priority because of how rapidly skateboarding is growing right now, I know a lot of my friends are starting to get into it, and despite what you think, a lot of kids aren't really gaming at like our age anymore. We're off the games, we're going outside. What's there to do outside? Just walk around. It's not very fun. So what's the next best thing is just sports. And skateboarding is really fun and it's really popular right now. And if there's, I'm 15, I can't drive to the skate parks. It'll take me a very long time to get there. My parents are doing work, so I have no other option than to come to a park or go to some private property that I will eventually get kicked out of. But it's the only thing that I can do because it is fun to do, and I would like to, have a place where I can skate. So I would like for a skate park to be built somewhere near the Avalon area.
Caden, thank you for spending your time here, and congratulations on being in one of the initial classes over there at Innovation Academy. That's fantastic,
Yeah.
and really and grateful that you see showing up at a meeting like this and waiting as long as you have to be heard. There's a lot of value in that, so I appreciate you for that very much. I think skate parks have been at least some priority in that there's been one that was established, and Morgan, being a skate park expert from his prior position, I think put one up very quickly. So thank you for letting us hear your commentary, and we'll take that into consideration.
Now, we watched the Olympics. Skateboarding was brought into Olympics for the first time this year, and just 13-year-olds competing in the finals. It's amazing. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, 13.
Do you have any ideas of what would we, like how much space would something need to be?
Initially, I was just skating, so behind Innovation Academy this summer, there's that the shed. What is that building called? That tore down? You got tore down? And there, I don't know if you knew, but there's like a couple tables used as ramps.
Being recorded.
And again, that's just a small shed. It's a very small area. A large park. The one in downtown Atlanta called at Fort Worth Park.
Yeah.
It's about the size of like this meeting room. I don't think they have to be too large, as long as they're, made by a skater that knows what they're doing, not just some engineer that will just put this there, put that there. Because I have been to a park that seemed like put together by a skater. And if there is a park, then people like me and my friends will stop skating in public areas where we're disturbing everyone, and we can have somewhere to go.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you
Do
very
you have
much.
any suggestions on locations? I know you said around Avalon.
I've
Not,
asked.
so do you have any other do you have?
I've asked before, but I think behind Innovation Academy would be like a good spot, like the soccer fields for the 4-year-olds. There could be a skate park out there, but I think that's not possible because of with the arrangement that you have with Innovation Academy. There's a park that I've never seen used once, right across from Avalon. It's like on the busy road. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. The West Side Fitness Park.
Mm-hmm. I think maybe next to that or replacing that would be a good idea, and maybe pushing that farther back or anywhere in that area with a fence like a high fence so that the boards don't get into the road and cause an accident.
Yeah, okay.
I think around the Avalon area would be good because that's where a lot of adults that with kids like me live. And I know a couple of my friends that live around the Avalon area, and I feel like that would be a good place to start, or somewhere in between. I don't think there's really anywhere between Innovation Academy and Avalon that you could do. It doesn't have to be a major, big space, just somewhere that we can go for this dedicated thing.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks.
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How is Innovation Academy?
It's amazing. It's the coolest school that I've ever seen.
Wow.
It's really cool. I like it so far.
And Caden, you're in 9th or 10th?
I'm in 10th.
10th.
Yeah. I just started. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
What track are you in? What are you?
I think my father put me in the computer programming like stuff because I know I have my stepmother. She's in IT, and then since she's in IT, she has a lot of connections. Like you don't necessarily need a college degree as long as you have connections.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of truth to that.
But I will on Fridays. There's this. You can go and do different courses. I want to take in the engineering courses because that is what I'm interested in.
Good.
That's fantastic.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you.
Can we get your contact information too?
I have it, I have it.
Do? Okay, great. Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Is there anything else?
Yes.
Is there anything else? No.
I think that's it. Good job.
Okay, anybody else, any comments, anything else you want to add for this evening? Okay, motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All approved? Aye. Yay.
All right.
So fast. Dennis is.